Welcome! Our project today will help us become familiar with some of the routines in the art room. We have here a paper, and you can see I've got the top of my paper up here and a spot where it says name. Of course, I will write my name. Most people call me Ms. Beyerle-White. You can write your first name on this line. It'll probably be shorter than mine and fit a little better. Over here where it says class code, you'll write your grade. So if you're in kindergarten, you would write K. If you're in first grade, you would write 1, etc. And then your teacher's last initial. So if I was in if I was in Mr. Leah's 4th grade class, I would write 4L. If you need help, I can help you with that also. On our paper, we have 12 different boxes that are shaped like a square. What we're going to be doing is we're going to use one of these texture plates and some crayons to create combinations of different textures and colors, and we're going to use layering to make these patterns even more interesting. To use the texture plate, you have to put it underneath the paper, and you want to put it underneath the square that you're working on. So if I want to work in the first square, I have to make sure that behind my first square I've got the texture plate, and you can even feel it through. Here's that first square. It's still got the texture plate underneath, and I can feel it with my finger. Then I'm going to use my other hand to hold the paper down and press down like very, very firmly. I'm pressing down with a lot of strength so the paper doesn't move. And I'm going to take the crayon and I'm going to start to gently color on top. With enough practice, you'll start to see a unique texture appear that looks different than when you're usually coloring. This one kind of looks like dots. One of the things that we can try today is we can try flipping over the texture plate to see if it looks different when we use the different sides, and we can see what happens when we use different colors of crayons. I do want to also try to fill as much of the square as I can and go very close to. In box number 2, let's try. It feels a little different, and I'm also going to switch colors of the crayon I'm using. Hold down with a strong hand. Wow! Even though it's the same texture plate, this side looks completely different. This one looks like little diamonds, or maybe even kind of like scales on an animal. After you have one layer of texture down, maybe you can try coloring over top without anything underneath. Now I just have the flat table, but I'm going to find another color and see what happens when I layer another color on top. It's interesting to see what these colors of combination of crayons looks like when they're put on top of each other. Maybe I'll even use a green on top of the pink over in this corner, and combinations I like better. I can experiment with all sorts of colors and textures in each of these boxes. Maybe I'll see what happens when I layer a purple over my orange. And I'm coloring pretty gently so I can still see the texture underneath from the texture plate. What I could even do, if no one else is using one of the texture plates, is I could get a different one, and I'm going to put it underneath again so it works. Hold down together. It might be hard to tell the differences sometimes, but this will be a good opportunity to see what happens when we've got different textures combining with each other. I'm really excited to see the different combinations you can make as we experiment with texture and color in our artwork today.